What's up, everybody? My name's Sean Feelock. I'm going to be your host tonight, along with Justin Lemme,
Hey.
John Overley,
Howdy.
and Todd Gamester.
What's up, guys?
And this is going to be our first official episode of Setups Reviewed. So, just sit back and enjoy the ride. All right. So tonight we are going to be reviewing Justin's setup. Justin,
Oh, goody.
yeah, Justin's one of our admins. He was the next person to submit to us, so we're just going to go ahead and run his first. And it looks like he did a before and after kind of deal with us. So, Justin, what's up with this before picture? Tell us a little bit about it.
The first picture, this is our new house that we built in Denver, and when we moved in, just had to do a quick setup, just to get things up and running. And so I kind of I have an IKEA desk, and I have that off to the side in the corner in an L shape. I got my bookcase off to the back corner there, as you can see, and I've only got my two monitors, which are mismatched. I have my main monitor, which is a BenQ gaming monitor. It does 120 hertz refresh on an LED LCD. So it's pretty expensive, but that's my center one. And then off to the side was just a gateway monitor that's been around for years. So I didn't really like it. Nothing ever quite matched up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the fact that you included the before picture. I know a lot of people don't really want to show what they had before, but I like that.
I don't think I'll be doing that.
Anywho, let me get back to my right frame here. Picture 3. I guess this is your current setup then.
Okay. Well, let's see here. First off, picture 2.
Picture 2. Yeah.
You should be looking at picture 2.
Okay.
Picture 2 is my current setup, but it's also a nighttime shot with my LEDs that I have in place.
Okay.
And as you can see that I have 3 monitors now. So my BenQ is still in the middle, and then I bought 2 cheap Dell LED LCDs for the side monitors. So that's picture number 2. And then number 3 is just more of a close-up picture of the setup during daylight hours, and with the LEDs lit up in the background. And
These are putting out quite a bit of light.
Yeah, they're actually extremely good quality for the price. I think I paid like $120 each for them. I mean, they're not that expensive, but they're just great quality. But I'll give you a quick little rundown from left to right. So left, obviously, you've got the all-in-one printer, scanner, coffee machine over there. Below that is my equipment that I use to record Tech Talk Radio. So on the top left of that, I have the Comrex Brick unit, which is a point-to-point audio over IP unit, and that's how I connect back to Tucson to Andy Taylor's unit. And then I've got the mixer kind of just in its storage position right there. And below that, I have an audio processor. So my microphone that I'm using now, which is the Shure microphone, Shure SM7B microphone, it connects to that processor, and then that processor feeds into the mixer, and then the mixer out to the Comrex. And below that is a power conditioner. On the floor, you can see, I'll have a picture of this later, but I have my Cytec X55 HOTAS system that John got me to buy, and I've used one time. $170 joystick system, and I used it once. Thank you, John.
My X52's been in the box for several months as well.
Yeah. Then on the floor in the back corner, I have my Logitech speaker system. That's a subwoofer. I noticed that I put just a piece of plywood on the ground. I painted it black, but I noticed that being that it was sitting on the carpet, I was getting absolutely no bass response whatsoever. But once I put this piece of wood right there, oh man, the bass response has like quadrupled in terms of
a hard surface for the sound to bounce off of.
Absolutely, it's as simple as it is. But I mean, it looks good sitting in the corner there. It's just like a 2 foot by 1 foot piece of plywood that's painted black, and that's what the speaker sits on.
There's your free tech tip.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Hey Justin, which audio processor is that you use?
This is the it's a DBX 286A.
286. Yeah, that's supposed to be one of the better ones out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My microphone preamp is DBX as well. It's a great brand.
Yeah, DBX is primarily one of the big ones. I didn't even have any choice in the matter. Andy Taylor just bought all the equipment and said, "Here you go. You're gonna plug this in." I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna skip forward to picture 11 here. I just want to get a close up because you're talking about this DBX unit.
Okay.
I'm very fascinated with the rack, and I don't know why. It's not a traditional rack.
Yeah, it's just a 4 RU rack.
It's a 4-unit.
Yeah.
4 RU. I got it off of Amazon, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I have something kind of similar set up in mine. Mine's built into my desk, and it's same for you. You can buy those rails, and it's just 19-inch width, and it's slightly different. Like if a server guy would look at it, that's not quite what they'd be used to. This is specifically.
Yeah, this is not a server rack. This is
right.
Yeah, this is specifically meant for audio equipment. So it's a little bit different from what, say, a server guy would be used to.
Right.
Well, I mean, just considering the fact that a server wouldn't even not only depth-wise wouldn't fit in, but the holes for the screws don't line up. Yeah. It's just not a server rack.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
it's threaded.
sense.
It's the spacing and the holes are different. Everything. Yeah. But having a rack like this, if you're looking for something super inexpensive to get that set up, if you're a little bit more handy with the wood, it's just 19 inches wide, and you can just buy the rails for like $2 or $3 a piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it on your own. I just bought this kit because I just wanted to get something put together real quick.
Right. Yeah, that's understandable.
That's another quick tip.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
It looks great. Absolutely looks great.
Yeah. It fits.
Let's go to picture 5 if you don't mind.
That's actually exactly where I was going. And let me just throw in the quick dig on your monitors being unlevel, just because I had the same exact problem.
I knew you guys were gonna bust my balls for this, but I'm sitting here looking at this. I mean, I'm looking at it. Obviously, I'm looking at it right now.
Right.
Every day I look at this and I'm trying to sit here. What in the hell is wrong? Like, what did I do wrong with this when I built the monitor stand? Because it's a triple monitor stand. The only thing I can think of is that the arm that holds the right monitor is supposed to be the one that holds the left monitor, and vice versa. Because if you look, the left monitor is 1 inch lower and the right monitor is 1 inch higher.
Oh.
But the arms don't actually have any type of left or right. They don't have any designation. The instructions are written in Chinese. So
never fails.
I kind of just put this together, and when I got it put up, I'm like, fuck it.
Have you ever measured from the back of the monitor to the base mount? If maybe like it was a slightly different casting between the two. I mean, they're both Dell monitors. I'm assuming they're the same model.
They're the exact same model. Exact same model.
Is it possible that maybe the VESA locations are slightly different? I mean,
I guess I wouldn't rule it out, but I just don't see that. I mean, I'm turning one of my monitors over right now.
You would think there'd be a somewhat easy fix to that. Spacers, something that was reversed.
Well, the easy fix is for me to dismantle this whole thing and put that arm on the left side and put the right on the right side and see if that does it. But you know what? I'm honestly just too damn lazy. I'm just too damn lazy.
It really isn't a huge deal. It's one of those things that. Well,
like
I will
OCD
say,
are going to be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
At my old job, I had 3 different types of monitors, and they were all roughly the same size. But one of them, the VESA mount was like at the bottom of the monitor.
Oh,
so,
yeah, I have one like that.
It's like 3 or 4 inches higher.
Yeah, I have a monitor like that.
So, I wanted to point out some other things that I have as part of my setup. Obviously, you can see the keyboard there is the SteelSeries Apex M800. I got that for a review unit when I was doing Tech Talk Radio, and SteelSeries was gracious enough to let us keep it, and which is awesome. Great keyboard, great mechanical keyboard. I have nothing bad to say about this keyboard whatsoever. The fact that it can do multiple lighting configurations, multiple hotkeys, the entire keyboard is completely customizable, and I really love it.
It looks like Justin. It also looks like you can. It's got an additional USB port that you can plug the mouse into, so you don't have Yeah, that's kind of a cool setup.
So the actual USB cord that goes from the keyboard to the PC is actually comprised of 3 USBs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry, two. I'm sorry, two.
Yeah.
It's 3 cords that split out, and then it goes into 2 USBs, and which gives it the extra power that it needs to be able to power other devices off of the keyboard. But yeah, that's where I have my mouse plugged into.
Now, just out of my own personal curiosity, do you happen to know what switches are in that keyboard?
Yeah, I don't. I remember reading it up. I do not remember exactly what type of switch is in the keyboard, but
okay. Yeah, that's no big deal. I was just curious.
I know I did read about it when I first was looking this up, and I think I even touched on it in my review, but it's been a while since I did my review. But they're upgraded from the previous iterations of this keyboard.
Okay.
It's a whole new type of switch.
Yeah.
Now, one question I would have, and this is kind of an odd one. Does the giant spacebar ever get in the way, or do you like it, or how does that feel to you?
Well, considering that a lot of the stuff that I do on this is WASD keys, I find that the spacebar just perfectly rests exactly where I want it to when I'm gaming, and I'll kind of try to give. I don't know if you can actually see. The keyboard
stuff going on.
Oh yeah, it's got all kinds of stuff. But I mean, the way my thumb sits right here on the keyboard, it just works perfectly. So I don't find that it gets in the way at all.
Yeah, that was really because I've seen these and I've been thinking about the possibility of getting one like it.
I would highly suggest it.
Good to know.
Now I want to add. I like that you've added the your medals and ribbons from your time in the service.
Yeah.
And then, is that
what picture?
We're still in the same picture.
Oh, right.
5. Yeah.
What is that hand grenade made out of?
Oh, the hand grenade.
Yeah, that looks fascinating.
This is actually a survival kit.
Oh,
so it's
I thought that looked like something.
Yeah, it's made of pear wire.
Okay.
And if I were to pull the pin on this, it will unravel. It'll give me I think it's 100 feet of pear wire. It's got matches, water purification tablets. Compass, smoke signal, fire starter.
Yeah, my mom got send me a link to wherever you bought that.
My mom got it for me for Christmas, so I'm gonna have to ask her where she got it. But yeah, they're pretty cool. So I don't think I actually ever want to take it apart, because once I do,
it'll never look like that again.
Good luck putting that one back together.
Yeah. No, the paracord bracelets are a pain in the ass enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn how to make those and start an Etsy page.
There you go. I know somebody's going to mention this. They're going to say, "Look at that, where the little hand grenade is sitting. What the cables?"
Oh,
right. Well, that's actually because during the day this doubles as my office. So what I normally do is I just push the SteelSeries keyboard back. I set up my laptop, and then that is my power cord and HDMI cable for my secondary monitor. So what I'll do is I'll actually use the middle monitor as a secondary monitor. My laptop is the main one, and then my right monitor, I'll actually fire up the PC, and I'll put up Dish Anywhere, because I have Dish Satellite. So I'll put up Dish Anywhere, which is a website where you can go to watch live television through the website. So I'll just have that on the side.
Nice.
So I'll have my TV, and then I'll have my dual monitor set up.
Oh, nice.
That makes sense.
Okay.
You gotta love the personality you got there, Justin, because it's you can look at that right away and tell that you were in the military, and it's it's subtle. But
right.
It's
minimalized,
but it speaks strong, even though it's subtle. So
right. Yeah, I picked up on it right away.
What are the white cables, or maybe they're not cables? They're coming down on the right hand side above that.
That's actually a lamp. A lamp with what you're seeing, that white one that's kind of bleeding onto the screen, is actually a adjustable arm to a lamp.
Okay.
Is it the same that you have directly
IKEA.
behind you now?
Yeah, exactly. Same one. Both IKEA.
Nice.
So the only thing I want to point out about this is actually no, we did already touch on it, was the wires. So yeah, we're good on that picture.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see you got your mouse as well. You've sent a picture of that.
The mouse was actually my first purchase that I made after I bought this PC, or built a PC, before I had the keyboard. So I was really looking for a good gaming mouse, and I gotta say my feelings are actually kind of mixed on this one. The mouse is a Shogun Brothers Ballista MK1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not something I've actually ever even heard of. When I saw this, I'd never seen this before.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't. I don't know why, but I mean, they seem to be pretty big out there, and the mouse was rated very highly. But the problem that I have, I mean, actually, let me discuss the good parts about it first. First off, it's completely optical, so it really is not like the old style laser mouse. It can pretty much run on anything. The ergonomics of the mouse are very nice. The mouse does have, let me see if I can actually put this up in the camera here a little bit. So the mouse does have adjustable settings for sensitivity for both separate X and Y axis. It's also got different preset modes where you can, for anybody who wants to use it, like if you want to go MOBA or you want to go RTS or FPS, you can just on the fly change your presets, and then also sensitivity settings. So the ergonomics of the mouse are actually really nice. The problem that I have with it is the software that's supposed to came with it. This is where you go to update your firmware, to make any changes to the buttons, because there are, again, if you look at my camera here, I've got this button, and these two buttons on the side. They're supposed to be all hot swappable, pre-assignable. You can't do that. Because the software, every time I open it up, and this is both on Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and Windows 10, it tells me that it cannot detect my mouse. Even though the drivers are installed, I've actually returned the mouse and got a new one from Shogun, and it still doesn't work. So I don't know what their problem is, but their software sucks.
A lot of smaller companies. I'm making a huge assumption in saying that they're small, but a lot of smaller companies do seem to have a lot of problems with driver.
I'm assuming this is probably small. I mean, they're obviously not the scale of Logitech.
Right.
The mouse itself is good. The hardware behind it is good. It's very sensitive. I do like it. I just really wish that I could assign all these extra buttons. Otherwise, why are they even there?
Yeah, that's kind of a deal killer.
Yeah, if you look at picture 7, put up picture 7 on the video here, you'll see a little bit different view of that mouse instead of having to look at my Skype camera. You'll see that there are extra buttons and sensitivity. So overall,
is that wheel a click wheel or is it adjustable?
It is a click wheel, and it's also side clickable too. So I can go left, right, down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it free spinning or is it notched?
No, it's notched.
Okay. Now,
I'm sorry, Sean. I just have one quick
you're good.
question. Have you played around with the whole individually adjustable sensitivity for X and Y? And is it useful for anything? Because it's a cool feature, don't get me wrong, but I'm just trying to figure out why or what that would be, useful for.
I guess it would be useful for certain type of games. Most likely, maybe flight simulators if you want to try to use it as a joystick or something.
God, that'd be terrible.
But to have the sensitivity on the X-axis so much different than the sensitivity on the Y-axis, that's just gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Button to only adjust or to adjust both of them at the same time, or do you have to adjust them individually?
They can be adjusted separately. You just have to press one button, it'll highlight that thing, and then you just roll the mouse back and around, and it'll adjust the settings, and you hit the button again, it'll save it and move on to the next. Okay. And that's another thing I have a problem with, is that I can do this with a button on here. Sometimes I'll accidentally bump the button, and then I'll be sitting there frantically trying to press buttons to do what I'm trying to do in the game, and I'll be adjusting all my settings, and then I have to go and just reset the whole mouse because I just screwed everything up.
Yeah.
That is literally the only problem that I have with the G502 is accidentally changing mouse sense.
Yeah.
What was the price tag, Justin? Do you recall?
That one was, gosh, I want to say, I think it was about $100. Yeah.
That's
right. You would think for $100 that you would get something that would work. Small company or not, they need.
Well, it does work, and I want to make that clear. It does work. It does work very well in terms of.
I should have rephrased that.
No, I get it.
You can't use all the features.
You can't use all the features, and yes, the software sucks. I've downloaded every new version of software that they come out with. The communication from the company as well is really bad. I mean, obviously they are a Chinese company. Their English looks like it came out of Google Translate. So and it takes them 72 hours just to get back to you.
Oh man.
Well, there you go.
And they're done that. I know that feeling well.
But I don't want to say this is not a Chinese knockoff. I mean, this is an official company, makes pretty decent products. It's just they've got a lot to work on.
It looks like a really solid mouse.
I feel like I've seen it in places before. I just never knew what it was called. It seems very familiar to me.
Yeah, I've heard them around. I've just never seen anybody else with one. Everybody else always rolls with Logitech, and I mean, yes, Logitech's a great company. I just I wanted to try something different.
Yeah,
Yeah, Logitech.
So, Justin, what do you got shoved in that Cooler Master?
Okay, so the Cooler Master. That's my case. That's my main PC. So I've got an ASRock. Oh gosh, I can't remember now. X60, X77. I want to say motherboard. I think so. I'm going to be upgrading everything here pretty soon. By the way, it's actually been 4 years since I built this, so it's about time. For processor, I've got a Intel i5 Sandy Bridge. Can't remember exactly which one. I want to say it's a 3770K, so it's overclockable.
Yep, that sounds right.
I've got 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM. Don't remember exactly which kind. I think it's Corsair. I've got two 128 gigabyte solid state drives, one for my boot system, one for just data, and then I've got a 2 terabyte and another 1 terabyte
Standard
regular
hardware.
drives.
Yeah, standard drives, but I want to say Barracudas. Yeah, Barracudas.
Okay.
They had them left over at my old job, so they're like, "Oh, you want one?" I'm like, "Okay."
Duh.
So that's where I install my games and stuff.
Works great.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do most on your computer?
Game.
So, with it being 4 years old, do you find that an issue with the current games?
Actually, absolutely. No, go ahead and finish what you're saying.
I was just kidding. Which graphics card? I don't know. I didn't think I heard you touch on that one.
Yeah, the graphics card is an NVIDIA GTX 680, so
Okay.
it is three generations behind.
Yeah.
But it's very odd. Until, honestly, 3 months ago, I was pretty much able to play any game I wanted on complete ultra settings. I mean, I've got my computer overclocked as well. It's the standard is a 3.2 gigahertz in the processor, but I've got it overclocked to 4. And I'm not using water cooling. I'm using air cooling, and it still hovers on heavy load. Right now, I'm at 28 degrees Celsius.
That's impressive.
That's good for air cooling, yeah.
It's pretty good.
So I've got a lot of fans in there. I've got fans up top and the bottom, two in the front, 3 in the back, 1 on the side. So I mean, it's very good on airflow. It's very quiet too.
But that was my next question: was how loud was it?
Yeah,
when I overclock my graphics card, because I do have the ASUS utility to overclock that, it does turn it up a little bit. And actually, it is running right now as we speak on the overclock settings, and you still really can't hear much.
Yeah.
It's just
Very nice.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so that's my system. Oh, and then I have a dedicated sound card. I have another ASUS ZMax, I think it's called, sound card. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to be rebuilding this. I've gotten somebody who's donating 2 GTX 980 Ti's to me.
Wow.
2 of them.
You told me this story, and
Yes.
I
Still hate me.
disliked you for
Yeah.
like a week and a half.
Yeah, I still dislike
And
you
so-
for that as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to rebuild it with a new i7 processor, a new motherboard. That's my budget, because I was literally going to keep everything else the same and just buy a new graphics card. But he was like, "Look, I'm going to get the new Pascal, and I have nowhere for this other thing to go, so I'll give it to you." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's also given me some DDR4 memory and a 480 gigabyte solid state drive. So I'm pretty much in debt to this guy, like crazy.
Light one in your pants.
Yeah.
Don't want to ask what you're gonna have to do to repay him.
Yeah.
Not going to have to do any of that.
Not appropriate for YouTube, that's for sure.
Yes, man. Yes.
So I
We're
see
going to
you
keep
have
this PG.
I see you have a Steam controller. How do you like that? Have you got a good use out of it yet?
Yeah, it was on sale. I was just popping up Steam, and it said, "Hey, it's on sale, half price." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll buy it." So it was like $50. I love it for playing Rocket League with you and John.
Okay.
But other than that, I really don't use it for anything. I've tried it on a few different games. It's just not quite. It just takes a real big getting used to. I mean, coming from a PC game with a keyboard and mouse, it takes a big getting used to. But for games like Rocket League, it's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, I actually got to play with one the other day. I didn't get to actually play anything with it, unfortunately, because I didn't have much time with it. But the first thing I noticed that it felt really good in the hands. But I
It
just
is
don't know,
plastic.
I don't know how. Well, yeah, but like it was a very comfortable position. But then again, I'm used to be a PlayStation nerd, so
Yeah.
They're-
This feels
their
more like an
controllers are kinda
Xbox
sharp.
controller.
yeah, has
It
more of
looks
that
more
extra-
like it as well.
But if you look at the back side of this, it actually has buttons on the back side as well as
Oh.
4 bumpers on top. So
Okay.
you've got
that when
these
I had.
on the back, and then you got these 4, and then also you've got the standard D-pad, up, down, left, right. You got your joypad or your joystick, but this right here, it's a flat pad, but it acts as a mouse, like a trackpad on a laptop. So you can just move your finger anywhere on this, and it will move the screen or move whatever the mouse, job would be.
How
So
does
that's-
that feel tactilely when, like, especially for something like Rocket League? Because I mean, I'm assuming that that's what controls car direction.
No, the joystick is my car direction. The triggers are the jumps and whatever. I think I've got this back switch right here set to my e-brake, but this D-pad or mouse trackpad looking thing, I've got that set up just for camera. But honestly, I use ball cam most of the time, so I really don't need to use the camera that much. So I really don't use it. I pretty much, when I use it actually,
Right, okay,
I use
well,
I use it to inspect your cars when we're all lined up waiting in the lobby. I'll kind of rotate around and I'll just inspect all your cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my brain set completely backwards there. I was for some reason I was thinking right thumb was motion or movement,
Yeah.
but
But honestly,
I
for,
know the one that's
for
good at
$50, it's not. It's a great controller for $50.
So I'm just going to move this along. We're going to jump to pictures 15 and 16. And let me start by saying
Oh,
I appreciate you including these pictures because a lot of people wouldn't have sent this in. But
Yeah.
that being said, you have an open back desk. There is not a whole lot. And you have an open back desk that doesn't even have like a lot of rails running along it to mount to.
like literally the only thing I can think is build a system. Okay, time
Time
out.
out. What do you got?
All right. My wife is yelling for me. Just real quick. Don't even have to stop. I mean, we can pick right up right where we stopped. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we'll
just give
take
me,
a
like,
quick
1
5-minute break. No big deal.
Not even.
We'll just bash your cable management while you're gone.
I know. Just kill us.
We're keeping the episode too.
Pay no attention to us.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so let's go right from you were saying. So I think the last thing you said is you got an open desk, so there's not much more you can do. Are you
And
waiting
then
for my response, or are you gonna?
Well,
are you gonna?
I hopped in really quickly as well, and basically, but what I'm thinking here is that there really isn't all that much that you can do to
No.
to hide those cables. I see what you're trying to do with this. What
I'm
I
trying to
would
make it
try-
from standing up level where you don't see nothing. And this is not
Yeah.
the finished. Actually, it
Yeah,
actually
no, I
looks
understand
better
that.
now. A little
Right.
bit.
I understand that,
Right.
But one thing I was going to suggest, what a lot of people do with open back desks, is they'll actually just make a faux panel, and
Yeah.
that just they paint it the same color as the walls, and then from far away you can't see anything.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. I never even thought
There's
about
there's
that.
there's some great spots on that with that angle line or the square tubing. It's supporting the desk horizontal. It would be real easy to fabricate a couple of panels to hang off of that,
Yeah, absolutely.
front or back, and you could make them removable or whatever. And yeah, there's a lot of things you could do if you're creative with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but again, I'm just really lazy.
It's not terrible. It's really
And
not.
that's
I mean,
No, because look at his the pictures.
yeah, his standing
the angle
height
that's stuck.
pictures.
Nobody really cares.
Right.
Somebody else would pick this apart and give you a -10 on it, but I think
Yeah,
we're-
but there's no
we're pretty-
flamingos there, so.
And I have, like I said, I have cleaned this up because part of the all the stuff you see above the upper power strip there, all those cables being undone, I actually had just undone those because I had to rerun my power. They're all zip tied back up. They're all
Right.
one little bunch. The
That's-
ones behind the post, they're actually now hidden to the post, and I've got silver zip ties to go around the post, so they're hidden behind the post, so you can't
Yeah.
really see them.
There you go.
Well, most of the subs are always a work in progress.
Right. Yeah,
And
then that's what that is.
So it seems to me that if you get two too crazy with your wire management that you create more problems than you had if you didn't do anything at all, because
So hard to change anything.
first time you want to change or move, just even unplug something, and you're taking life to everything you've got back there and starting from scratch.
Oh, I feel you, because I added this mic probably a few weeks ago. I added the mic, and running the XLR cable, I had to pull panels off, undo zip ties, run it through channels, all this other nonsense, and then turns out it wasn't in the right spot, and I had to redo it all.
You also run the risk of being an idiot like me and accidentally cutting the cord or the power cord to your.
Yeah, every time I cut a zip tie, I always think about that.
Yeah.
Take a pair of dikes, cut up a bunch of zip ties, and well, that could have shocked me.
Or it could be like my coworker who actually spliced 2 power cables, and they actually shorted out together and almost caused a fire.
Oh God! Oh.
It gets worse.
No, I actually started using reusable zip ties because I got tired of that scare factor when you're back cutting blindly on zip ties.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really looked into that. Have you found a cheap supply for those?
I just went and picked them up at the hardware store. I think I got mine at Menards. So.
Save big money at Menards.
Yeah, you know that Menards is great for everything but special order. That's all I'm gonna say on that one.
I've never been in one.
Yeah, no,
Just like Home Depot.
Yeah, I'm a Home Depot person too.
Typically I'm a Lowe's person, but we had a
That's me, Lowe's.
we had a gift card, so. But no, I overall, Justin, I like it. It's to the point. It's what you use. It's how you use it, and it works for you, and that's what matters most out of anything at all, honestly.
Let's look at picture 13 just real fast. I want to touch on this.
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay.
So this is the Cytec, the X55 Rhino. It's a amazing joystick system. I mean, it's considered a HOTUS, which means hands-on throttle and stick.
Yep.
So it came, obviously separate. What I did is I went out and just got a little piece of plywood. I think it was the exact same board that I have my speaker set up. It was just the other half of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put a pencil marker through it to find out where I needed to drill, and I took some real thin screws. And so now the actual unit can sit on my lap, and this board is actually just as wide as my chair. So that way I can set it on my lap. It keeps the joystick in place.
Yep.
And then if I want to get up, I just move it and set it up on the desk. And the joystick itself is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's so many variations in programming your switches and hack keys and everything. Great for a game like Elite Dangerous or Eve, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Any flight sim. It's really.
Yeah. Any combat flight sim, I should say. Regular flight sim, probably gonna need something different.
Yeah.
Probably overkill too.
I do want to touch too. The Saytech build quality is amazing.
Absolutely.
I actually have the smaller brother to the younger brother to this one, the X52 Pro, and the only thing I have complaints on about it compared to this one is I would prefer it have split throttle like this one's got. But other than that, it is great.
I actually keep my throttles locked up because I'm honestly I don't see a use for it.
Yeah, if you're playing a game that allows for that,
right.
Having that is huge. There's a lot of very interesting maneuvering that you can do with that. But I have mine. I have the same. I have the X55 Rhino. I just use it for Elite Dangerous when I feel like playing that game again.
Which, by the way, you're saying that you haven't played it for a long time.
Yeah.
Not very. I love playing that game when somebody else wants to get into it. I love bringing people into that game. Can't stand playing it by myself, or even really playing it in general. But it's gotten really boring. But bringing people into it's super fun.
Yeah.
So that's my quick rant.
Lastly, I want to just mention picture 14. So that's my APC. This is honestly. This is probably the one tech tip that I could give everybody. It is well worth your money to get a battery backup, and it's not just because it's battery backup, but it also provides line conditioning to prevent, power surges or power dips. That is the number one killer of computer peripherals is brownouts or power surges. Yep. And this device will take care of them both. And so this right here was I think it was $150. and it's great. Get yourself a UPC system. Don't just get yourself just a simple power strip, because that's not going to do jack shit.
Yeah,
Justin, is
actually.
that it,
Go ahead,
ahead,
Todd. No, go ahead, Todd.
I was just going to ask, do you have just your CPU plugged into that, or are you able to run a monitor on it? So if the power
I've got
goes out,
everything.
you can at least see what you're doing to shut everything down?
Yeah, I've got everything plugged into it. So my monitors, the triple monitors, are plugged right into that power strip that was underneath, and then that power
got all
strip
three.
actually, yeah,
All 3 monitors, huh?
yeah, and then my pro audio equipment plugged into it. The printer is not. The printer is plugged into just a regular separate power strip, and then I've got like a little light on my desk and a battery charger for my vape. That's also not plugged into it. But everything else, everything that's worth more than $50 is plugged into it.
Gotcha.
Yep. Now, I actually just want to say, after we shot my episode for the pilot, I went out probably a week later and purchased one of these, and I would say definitely a sound investment.
Absolutely.
Because
It's just a peace of mind.
Rack mount one. I'm looking for a small rack mount one because I have some rack space that's just staring me in the face.
Yeah, I don't think I'd had mine plugged in for more than 4 or 5 hours, and I had the computer turned on, and somebody hit a telephone pole down the street from my house, and
Oh,
goodbye power. But I was able
Yeah.
to get my PC shut down, so it was great.
yeah.
Now-
And
now-
what's nice about these APCs, by the way, too, is if you have a USB cable plugged into it, it will, and you have the software running on your computer, if the power kicks in, where the battery kicks in, it will send a command to your PC to shut it down automatically, gracefully. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't
Now,
done that yet, but I need to.
I notice on yours there is a speaker mute button. Is that to turn off the super annoying alarm if the battery starts going bad?
Yes.
Yep.
Good.
Bad, dead.
Something- If oh man, I wish I had that feature on the ones that we used to have at work, because man,
So annoying. So
It-
annoying.
it's
Mine-
work.
Mine, in fact.
And it's like a freaking smoke alarm with the battery going
Yep.
bad.
Yeah.
You know, you never know where it's at. You're like, beep beep. Where the?
Where is it
Especially
at?
if you have like a rack of like 13 of them, and they're just all over the office, and you just have no idea
Yeah.
where it's. Yeah, that mute button is a godsend. So
Yeah, I know.
thank you.
I
Mine.
think the other nice thing about those, the battery life is only good for a few years, but I believe most of those they may not want you to take them apart, but you can take them apart, replace the AGM batteries in there, and you're not having to. They don't become useless after 3 or 4 years if you don't
Sure.
mind tinkering with them.
Right.
Yeah, just be very, very careful if you are planning on doing that.
Yep. So, I mean, you guys got anything else on this one you want to talk about, or?
I have one last little thing that I was going to bring up earlier, but forgot. And it pertains to the mouse. So this is back to
Okay.
7.
Yep.
Your mouse pad. Do you have problems with the size of that? Because that's a little bit smaller than I usually see.
No, my mouse is I'd say about 90% of the time just staying right on it, and the only reason I have the mouse pad there is because I just don't want to scratch up the desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not for
I actually don't
performance with
use
the
a
mouse. Yeah, it's just for the desk to protect. So I would actually call it a desk protector and not even a mouse pad.
Yeah.
But yeah, for about 90% of the time, because the thing is if I'm finding that I have to move my mouse more than a few inches out of my hand, I just adjust the sensitivity up 1 notch, and now I'm moving it 1/2 inch in any direction.
Yeah,
It's that
makes sense.
sensitive.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So.
Okay.
All right. Well.
Yeah,
So Justin, with all that being said, you did mention that your big plans were to upgrade your PC itself. Is there anything else that when you look at your system now that you would like to
I probably
change?
would try to. I don't really like the LED lights. They were just basically a strip of one long strip of LED, and I had to buy some connectors, and which you can actually see on what picture is that? 15. You can see the connectors in between the different strips,
Yeah.
and so I had to solder
Mhm.
the lights. I had to cut the light strip because after every 3 LEDs, you can see a little a copper contacts.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I just found that it was just the worst shoddy construction. I mean, half the time the lights didn't work. And after I soldered every cable, and I've got, as you can see, I've got a bunch of different strips running because I had to take it from here to here and here to here.
Yeah.
So I didn't want LEDs everywhere. So I had to do all these connections. And once I finally got it going, the only light that worked was white.
Oh,
every
no.
other light, and if you look at this, you can either see what is that? You can either see picture 13. You can see the remote next to the Carmex chap, or you can just look at my Skype.
Yeah.
You can see how many colors this thing is supposed to be able to do.
Yep.
There's no freaking way. It just does white. So you know what? I just gave up, and it was like $15 for this thing. So it came with the wireless receiver and the remote control. But honestly, I just leave it on white.
Well, if it's on white, it's talking to all three. It's talking to R, G, and B. I mean, it's just sending full power to all the LEDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I try blue or green or whatever, it just basically goes to a really puke shade of.
Off the,
and half of them just turn off, and the other half stay green or purple over here and red over here. I'm like, what the hell?
Sounds like a controller problem to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It was like $15, so I'm just. I would probably get better quality LEDs if I were to do anything different, and I think a little bit more time spent on some cable management. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see why you would be.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
absolutely.
Beautiful setup.
As long as you're happy with it, I mean, that's really what matters. So.
The only other thing I would like to do with my new build, I'm sorry, John.
I was just saying it's a very usable setup. You have everything in arm's reach. That's really, really nice to have.
Kind of what I go for, just as simple. But when I go to upgrade my new computer, the case is it's a standard case, and if you look at, again, picture 3 or 4, you can see where the PC is up against the wall. So the left side of the case, if you're looking at it from the front, the left side of the case is where Windows typically are put on a case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have a window on the right side of the case, which means the whole case would have to be 180 degrees, where the motherboard would mount to the left side of the case.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I have not come up with any case. There's one. It's Corsair makes a case. I cannot believe that more companies do not make cases that are completely reverse.
I don't know if they still make it or not, but my case is reversed. It's a Leon Lee V2000 full tower. If you can pick one of those up, it's a super, super nice case, and it is inverted.
I'm gonna have inverted. There's the word, inverted, because I've also noticed that with inverted, which is a great idea. And again, I can't believe why other manufacturers didn't think of this, but the power supply, all the heat generating items are at the top.
Yeah.
And like your it's like power supply, then graphics card, then CPU, then RAM, and then hard drives. That way, all the heat is already at the top of the case, and it just goes right out. Why didn't other manufacturers think of this many years ago?
Also, you can see the top of your graphics card instead of the PCB.
Yes.
Which
yeah.
is another thing I never really understood. I always thought that graphics cards were just upside down.
Unless your case is above your head like mine, then you have the opposite.
If you're looking up at it, yeah.
You are one of like 5 people that have that problem.
Well, yeah. So.
See, and that's why I like the way you positioned your case, Sean, is because you do have the right side window, so you can look at it because your case is right in front of you. Right. So that would be the only other thing I would like to see different on this, but I'm not going to go out and spend a bunch of money. I mean, I'm going to use the same case. I'm just going to deal with it because, honestly, 90% of the time, I'm the only person to see this room. So why do I need to make it look super nice? Because I really don't have people come over to look at it or do that. So you guys are like the first people to see this computer and actually talk about it for a long time. So
I think there's a really good point there, in that what we're doing here, what we're creating, we're doing for ourselves.
Right, exactly.
We're making a space that we are comfortable in, that we can do work in.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it might not be for everybody.
Yeah, it might not be for everybody. And I'm not saying that yours isn't. I mean, I think you have a very nice setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I'm saying here is that it's your sanctuary, it's your temple.
Right, nor should it be anybody else's, or nor should you really care. If you get the wow factor, you've spent a little extra time, and Justin, you certainly have, and Sean's the first one that reviewed.
Certainly.
That was obvious as well, but and I guess if you don't submit your setup and you don't want it reviewed, then you're not as proud of it or whatever. So people take more pride in some of theirs than others, but
some people people just, yeah, you're right, Todd, and you're right, John. Same thing. Some people just want to show things off, and that's totally fine. You spend a lot of time, you spend a lot of money,
Absolutely.
show it off. But
Right.
you know
Right.
what? As long as it's functional for you and
Yep.
you are happy with what it is, that is all that matters. Who cares what everybody else thinks? And
Right.
that's honestly kind of what the whole topic of this little group session is we're not here to trash each other. We're just here to talk about things and try to get other ideas, because
Right.
a lot of these things that I see on my computer, and I'm sure, Sean, you've had the same thing, and John and Todd, you've learned it from somebody else. You've seen it. You know
Exactly.
what? That would look cool on my setup. You
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so that's what we're trying to here to do, is we're not trying to trash anybody's setup. We're just, hey, look at this idea. Oh, I never thought about that. I might try it on mine.
Exactly.
why
And
I
also
think
get some
that's
new
why I think
ideas from other people. You know, like, because sometimes you might not notice something that isn't quite optimized to how you want it to be. So you might see something, you know, like, or, you know, let's use the red herring, the cable management. Like, you might get an idea for some cables that have been bothering you that you just you couldn't really figure out how to hide. So
Mhm.
you know, talking to people about your setup, sharing your setup is a great way to, you know, figure out those problems, get a new perspective on those things.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
that should almost be just looking forward on this. Maybe that's something that we should devote a little bit of time to with each setup that we look at. If people, not that we're experts, but just a different perspective, and if you have 4 or 5 people that are all talking about somebody's setup, there's always maybe a better way. And
But then again, but that's the thing. Yeah, there may be a better way, and you might learn it. But if there's not, who cares? It's you're happy with your own
Exactly.
setup.
Exactly.
So that's all it's about.
yeah,
Right.
that's why I think nobody would say, Justin, you should do this to your setup. It was more, Justin, what do you want to do to your setup?
Right.
Sure.
That was I think the leading question.
And I know we did discuss some of that with with Sean's, because it was our first episode. But you know what? Honestly, I'm totally open to suggestions too.
Right.
Obviously, I'm not going to take somebody's going to be like, oh, you totally screwed that up. You should have done this way. You know what? Kick rocks. Because I don't really care what you say. But if you just be like, oh, here's an idea. This is maybe
Right.
what I would have done.
Right.
Oh,
Absolutely.
cool. I never thought about that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
saying-
that's
saying
constructive criticism.
saying they don't like the picture, or don't like the color of the wall, or
Yeah, well,
your,
yeah.
your chair isn't what I like, or whatever, is not what it's
Yeah,
about.
that's
I
right.
think it's purely subjective.
right.
And-
Exactly. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that's the whole point of this is ideas, not criticism.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but I think with that's going to wrap up Justin's setup tonight. We're running into the 50-minute mark. So
Happens every time.
yeah, it happens every time. But one last thing, actually, I totally meant to do this in the beginning, but I got to thank Justin and Andy Taylor from Tech Talk Radio for hooking me up with this sweet mic arm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Finally
did-
got it. That's right. Gosh,
I
didn't even
did,
notice.
yes. It is great. Tech Talk Radio is, Justin can tell you a little bit about it. It's great. I watch it every now and then. He posts little live videos all the time of him at the I guess that's the news station.
Yeah, he does all.
Yeah.
Andy does stuff at the techtalkradio.com. You can also get our podcast at Spreaker. That's the new podcast service. What is it? Spreaker, Spreaker. But just go to techtalkradio.com, check it out. But yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It looks really good on your setup.
Yeah, thanks. It's definitely great. It's a step above my ghetto rigged wood mount thing that I had going there for a couple of weeks. So
I'm still using a floor microphone stand.
Yeah, we can tell.
What? I thought this was a safe space. Come on.
Yeah, screw your safe space.
oh. All right. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, if you want to get reviewed, check the video description. We'll have details. Send your setup to everythingsetups@gmail.com. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Let us know in the comments what we can do better. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.